I'm going to show you how to paint Vincent Van Gogh's sunflowers using acrylic paint. If you're new to my channel, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to check out my other videos. I have so many super fun art tutorials on this channel. Van Gogh is famous for living a really hard life and dying young at the age of 37 and only becoming famous after his death. During his time, flower still lifes were really common, but almost no one else was painting sunflowers. Here are 3 of Van Gogh's most famous sunflower paintings. This sunflower painting of his is more obscure because it is privately owned, and this sunflower painting belonged to a Japanese collector and was destroyed in a US bombing raid during World War II. What's really neat about these flowers is that they show the sunflowers in all stages of their life. So not just when they're perfect and in their prime, but kind of before they bloom, while they're blooming, and then kind of after they've died. I'm going to paint my sunflowers on 11 by 14-inch multimedia paper. For this project, I recommend orienting your paper vertically, not horizontally. I'm basing my picture on this sunflower painting Van Gogh made in 1889. I'm taping my paper down with painter's tape so it doesn't slip around while I'm painting, but this is optional. Now I'm using a pencil to sketch the composition. I'm adding a horizon line across the bottom third of my paper and making a large oval for the vase. Now that I've penciled in a light oval, I'm going to reshape my vase to make it look more like the vase in his painting. I've used a slightly rounded line for the bottom of the vase, and I'm making a soft elbow shape on each side. I'm adding imperfect oval shapes in a variety of sizes to match the sunflower shapes I see in his painting. I'm erasing the area where the vase overlaps with the horizon line. I'm ready to add paint, so I'm mixing blue, white, and yellow to make turquoise for the background. Notice how I'm using my small flathead brush to dab squares and rectangles onto my background. I'm not making the normal long brush strokes I normally make when I paint. I'm just making quick dabbing motions. This background looks kind of dark to me, so I'm going back over it with some white paint to lighten it up. For the table, I'm using a mixture of yellow, ochre, and white. I'm going to pick up a little bit of each color and allow these colors to blend right on the paper. See how there's a cool blend of yellow and ochre and white in each brush stroke? I love how that looks. I want there to be a little bit of shadow around the back edge of the table, so I'm adding a tiny bit of the turquoise color here. I forgot to add a curved line across the middle of my vase, so I'm doing that now. I'm picking up a little bit of white on one side of my brush and a little bit of brown on the other side of my brush, and using this to paint the bottom half of my vase. For the top half of the vase, I'm scooping up some yellow and white paint and gently dabbing these colors right onto the paper. I want to change the color a bit, so I'm picking up the tiniest bit of orange and adding a few small specks of this orange on top of the yellow. I want it to be a bit lighter, so I'm adding a bit of white as well. You can keep adding different colors until you get a color that you're happy with. I'm using brown, ochre, white, and yellow to paint the middle part of the sunflowers. Now I'm switching brushes and using a small round brush and some yellow ochre to paint the sunflower petals. See how these long, straight brush strokes circle around the center of each sunflower? The sunflowers at the bottom have shorter petals, so I'm just adding a bit of color here. I want to make these petals a bit lighter and brighter, so I'm mixing yellow and white and using this light yellow color to add another layer of petals. That looks a lot better, And it looks cool because you can still see the darker ochre color beneath the yellow. I'm ready to add a bit of green to my flowers. Where do you see green in Van Gogh's painting? You can see lots of little green leaves poking out from behind the flowers. I'm also adding a bit of green to the center of each flower. Like me, you can keep adding tiny changes to your flowers and your painting until you're satisfied with how it looks. Just don't be a perfectionist. When you're done with the flowers, take a tiny round brush and add a thin brown line around your vase. You may want to sign your first name on the side of the vase, just like Van Gogh did. I'm switching back to my small flathead brush and adding a white highlight on part of my vase. This looks like natural light reflecting on the vase. When you're all done, you can gently remove the painter's tape. I hope you love how your painting turns out. Please leave me a comment below and be sure to subscribe and check out the other videos on my channel, Rainbow Parrot Art.